A good weekend. I was I was happy with our effort all the way through. I think when you can go on the road and not play particularly well on the offensive end, which happens a lot, and still come away with 2 wins, that's huge. Great resolve by not only your players that you count on, but then your bench gave us a lot of huge moments and minutes in both of those games. Grand Valley game in particular, down 11, and just weren't playing well on the offensive side, and to have the resolve to get back into that game doesn't even happen last year. So that speaks a lot to our team and where we're at right now. Obviously, we have a huge game coming up, and I think our standpoint this week with Michigan Tech is that, it is a rivalry, but to be quite frank, a rivalry is all part about winning, and we haven't won many of these games in the last 10 years. And in order to make it a rivalry, we actually have to do our part and make sure that we come out with the same type of focus that they've been able to here for the last several years. So that's the challenge for our team this year, knowing we're playing a team that's incredibly well coached, has a lot of talented players that know how to win, and so we have to do our best to prepare and make sure our guys are aware of where we're at, and be ready to compete at the fullest.
So is it a triangle and two with the two on Monroe?
It's Kyle Monroe is right now playing as well as any player that I've seen in my 25 years here. He is a scoring machine, and that's the one thing for him is he can do it from every spot. And it's a really difficult matchup. And he does a great job because he's so consistent in the post and from the perimeter, but he just has an incredible knack to also get to the free throw line. And so it's a challenge. It's one that, trust me, there'll be a few sleepless nights here, just trying to figure out what to do.
Was it ever a case where you just let him get his and try to stop everyone else?
Well, yeah, but when you're talking about that special of a player, let it get his, it could be 50. So you say, all right, we'll let this particular player maybe get 25. But he has the ability to literally carry a team. So you have to, I think, come up with a variety of ways. And the thing for them is they have still a number of players. It's just not Kyle Monroe. Heath has been playing really well. Dylan Gordon's been playing well. Grazoulis has given us a ton of problems over the past couple of years. Their freshmen are starting to play really well. Appleby. So it's a good team. Now, yes, it is Kyle, but it's a really rounded, good basketball team.
Have there been any common threads past couple of years of when Tech has been able to beat you? Why they've been able to consistently beat you?
I think the first couple of years, from a talent perspective, they just were better. And I think even last year a little bit, we haven't embraced the rivalry as much as I think we need to, in understanding their approach to it and how we need to approach it. Hopefully, as we've matured as a team, our players have a better idea of and in grasping that a little more.
Unless I've been misreading the box score, your balance continues to be, I think, what would be very good for you.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Nala's getting his, Isaiah's getting his, and you get a couple others chipping in. You got 4 guys in double figures.
We've consistently been able to do that, and I think that's a quality that it's on both sides of the floor. And depth, I think, is something that we do have somewhat of an advantage on. And I think you're exactly right in that we knew Isaiah and Naba were going to be able to score for us. But Eddie Torrens, Will Karras, Sam Taylor, we have a number of other guys that are stepping up and giving us baskets in the areas we need to get them. So hopefully we can continue on that path. I think it makes it much harder to defend when you have a number of guys that have the ability to score for you.
To go down to Grand Valley and get that big of a win, what did it take from your team?
You know, mental fortitude probably more than anything else. You know, the first half and really leading into the second half, we had great shots and we couldn't buy a basket. I mean, quite frankly, as hard as we were playing, if we're in a scenario where those go in, we got a 12-point lead easy at halftime, and it just wasn't happening for us. And I think as that game progressed, a lot of times you see a team that starts to struggle offensively, their defense lets down, and the hustle plays and all those sorts of things don't happen. And I think in that environment, we just kept on battling, and that's what I was probably most happy with, is that we battled enough to finally we started to have a few shots drop. You know, Jordan Perez hits back-to-back threes. You know, Eddie Torrance hits one, and we basically go on a 9-0 run, and that's really what propelled us to go. And then, just like always, we talk about balance, but the reality is when it gets down to the end, you know, Naba's going to have the ball in his hands. I'm at least somewhat smart there. You know, I mean, I think he ended up scoring 19 of our last 22 points. So yeah, it was a pretty impressive performance down the stretch.
I happened to be listening to the radio on the way back from shooting high school hockey in Hope, listening to the second half of the Tech men's game. They led 2-0. They didn't lead again until 61-60, and they finished on a 14-3 run to beat Purdue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, how good is Purdue? Are they, as opposed to their women, are they able to play in this league?
I think so. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, they have not reaped the success of winning, you know, trust me, I've been on that road before. But they have talent, and if you look at them from their first few games till now, they continue to improve. It's just the whole thing, that recipe of putting it all together to actually get a win isn't there for them yet. But I was really impressed with them when we played them. I thought they were really well coached. They took away a couple of things on the offensive end that we had been able to score on, and had some guys that really could score. So I see that team as a team that, yeah, in this first year of making that step, if they can continue to have that nucleus, they're going to have a decent squad in the next couple of years.
If you looked at your team and how the season's going, how would you feel? How are you feeling right now?
As you well know, right? Sometimes there's the coach speak of optimism, and you always have that. But I felt really good because of where we were in the beginning of the season and the approach our guys were taking. I think the good thing for us is that we have just the mantra: play hard, play smart, play together. You know, right now we're playing very hard. I think we're doing a pretty good job of playing together. You know, the smart thing we're working on, reading situations. You know, what is the defense giving you? You know, what are they doing to counter some of the things that we're trying to do to them defensively? And that's I think in the process we're at right now. And if we can figure that part of it out, I think we have a chance to be a really good team.
Your best start in over a decade, and Coach Belt is on Twitter saying, you know, we're not done. Would you consider it a signature win if you could beat Tech, like kind of like a we're here kind of moment?
Yeah, in some ways it's way too early in the season to start throwing those out there. You know, if we're in the hunt, and it's February, then you can start talking about signature wins. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell you, well, this is just another game on the schedule. It's not. I think we all know that, and that's more coach speak. You know, I mean, this is your rival, and it doesn't matter if you play him the first game of the year or the last game of the year. The nice thing right now is that, you know, we're both tied for first. I don't know when the last time that's happened, to be playing Tech and have both teams in first place. And in reality, no matter what, even if you're in last place and they're in first place, it's still your rival game. So we're taking that approach. Of course, that this is a big game, and it would be a great win, just like everyone is, but even a little sweeter when it's your rival.